Once again, I'm Lochlin Cross, host of The Locker Room. I'm joined by Stacey Disotell, owner-operator of a locally owned business, Ardent Roof Systems. Stacey, this is the fourth episode of a series of podcasts we're doing about your business. Today we're going to talk about building a quote, because that's kind of the starting point for anyone that is in the middle of a situation with their roof. I'm going to call Stacey. I want to know how this whole process goes through, and we need to touch on the free estimate aspect of this as well. But first off, let's start with, what's the process of getting that quote?
Well, if you start out by either calling the office and asking to speak to one of the sales reps, or if you're on our website, you can actually click on the Book the Appointment tab.
Perfect.
And we want it to have as a book an appointment, because we don't offer just free estimates per se. The estimate is always going to be free, and it's going to be in the form of a quote, not an estimate. So it's a final number. There's no changing.
Okay.
We want to book the appointment because it's important for us to see everything that's going on, talk to the client, make sure that we're understanding what they're looking for, what are they experiencing that brings them to making that call today. Mm-hmm. And then we can take a look at everything else that's going on within the attic, within ventilation, and do a little troubleshooting with the client to get a fully understanding of what's really going on. Why did the roof, maybe prematurely fail? So it's really important that we go to that level.
So somebody isn't just going to come out with a clipboard and look at your roof and go, that'll be 15 grand. Like, there's a process to this, and it's going to depend largely on what's happening. Can you give us maybe a couple, like 2 or 3 things that would lead somebody to be making a call to Ardent Roof Systems to get you out there to have a look at what's going on?
One good indicator is if you're living in your home and then all of a sudden you see roofing getting done around you in your neighborhood, because a lot of times these neighborhoods were all built about the same time.
Okay.
So it's maybe I should start thinking about getting my roof done. Then the second most driving force of getting roof replacements is they're calling because they have a problem. They've had a failure. They've got some shingles on the ground. They notice that there's some missing. The shingles are curling. They have a leak.
Yeah.
These kinds of things. So it's some of what
staining on the drywall.
Yeah, staining inside. And that is another reason why we book an appointment, because if there is noticeable staining on the drywall and the ceilings, that could be a strong indicator that it's not the roof that's failing. It's the underlying issues that need to be addressed that are in the actual attic. So whenever we start that quoting process, whether it's a call in from a leak and then it expands into, well, if it's in that bad a shape, can I get a quote? Well, now it transfers from the service department or the sales team. They go out, they talk to the homeowner, get a little history, do all the measurements, and then we book an appointment to follow up to discuss what the recommendations are.
Yeah, that's the distinction here between the quote, right, and what because it all depends on what needs to be done. You were telling me about an instrument that you guys are using to give you an indication of where you might be losing heat or where there might be some issues. Infrared?
Yeah, it's a FLIR gun, and it's used in our service department when we're troubleshooting. It's part of the arsenal in the service department to be able to troubleshoot when a leak is happening, depending on the time of the year. So if you're getting an active leak in the wintertime coming out of a cold snap, chances are it's not a roof-related problem. It's more of an insulation, ventilation issue.
Okay.
And the FLIR gun helps us take pictures from inside in an infrared manner that shows us cold spots, warm spots. If you have a lot of cold spots, that means there's a breakdown in insulation, extensive heat loss. So it may not have anything to do with the roof, but it's affecting the roof by having an ice dam, standing water on the roof, which can leak into the house, and then you've already got a lot of moisture buildup in the attic from the frost buildup. So we have to look at all of these things as part of that whole process and then give the client the full understanding of everything that's going on, not just come in and clean the roof off and you're good to go, collect some money, and down the road you go. We got to make sure that when we're done, they have a good feeling that everything has been addressed.
Yeah.
It may get expensive, but it's better than doing a little bit, putting a Band-Aid on it, and having it reoccur, and they're back to square one again.
So not every call you're going to get is an indication that the entire roof needs to be fixed. It might be a fix from the service department at Ardent Roof Systems.
Exactly, because if you're getting an active leak this time of the year in January, which we're discussing this right now, chances are it has nothing to do with the roof. It has to do with the attic system, which we can address, we can take care of.
Yeah.
We have the experience to troubleshoot these things and do the necessary corrections. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the roof. So that's where, as a roofing company, we're not always looking for the roof replacement. We're looking at addressing the issue, putting in the recommendations, building the trust with the client. So if there's still 5 years left in that roof system, maybe 5 years from now, they're calling us to now take care of the replacement.
Kind of like a tread on tires situation, right?
Exactly.
You take it to the tire shop, they're going to go, you got 2 seasons left on these.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a rough number on how many calls you get that turn into just a service repair versus a full-blown replacement?
I would probably say it's about 50-50, 60-40.
Wow.
Because a lot
okay.
of this stuff we can go out and just put repairs on
Okay.
and not have to do the full replacements. So that's the reason why our service department is so big. I've got a service manager and 3 techs in the field. So we can take on just about
Trust
any
me, I
call
know.
that comes in.
I've seen them all.
Yeah. But that gives us the ability to give the client what they need to get through to the next phase.
Okay.
We're not just a roofing company to replace shingles and get the big capital jobs. We want to make sure that we're addressing just what needs to be taken care of and give them a chance to maybe prolong the life of the roof by making some alterations, making some changes. And then when the time does come to do the replacement, well, then that changes the whole conversation over to the service, from the service department to the sales department. Mm-hmm. And then the sales reps are, qualified as HAG certified guys. So that gives them the ability to do inspections for weather damage for the insurance sector that we work for. So it gives them the understanding of what to look for on the roof, what could be going on with it, and put together the proper recommendations of what they should be doing next and how long they should be doing it within. So if it's 2 years from now, you can get it, great. We'll talk again. We can update another quote as the time gets closer. And then also we can offer just about anything and everything in the roofing industry. So we're not strictly just one product, even though we believe wholeheartedly with the Owens Corning product line.
Yeah.
But if a client more wants to lean to a different product in the industry, well, we can offer anything that they want. Give it in a package, products in one package, the warranties that come along with the other, and all the upgrades that come into another. So we can give them an opportunity to mix and match what they feel is the best package for them.
And that's what we're going to get into in the next episode. Episode 5 is going to be about the Platinum warranty.
Exactly.
The Locker Room for Ardent Roof Systems. Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.